snowiest place continent, and Nisco, Japan. It's around 15 millimeters of yearly average rainfall. And there is Borneo. Many equatorial rainforests, such as those in Borneo, have no dry season, and it rain every day. Okay, it's rain every day. Fine. So we learn about this, and it's not in who is more close to equator, because it is where the cloud stuck. Most of the time they fall down as a rain, and snow is there also. And you see those different continents, like in North America, South America, then Asia, and African country, and Australia. So we have a different monsoon, and so that's the reason different kind of rainfall. And yes, India is also pretty lucky in this matter, and also many other places, like you see that deserts area where hardly any rain. And rain is a blessings, I feel, but deserts, it's nature, right? Somewhere you will see no water, somewhere you will see very huge rain. So it's the business of nature. So he like to his flow his own way. You can't do it, you can't control it, but you may affect it. So flash flood. If a lot of rain falls in a short time, it can result in flash flood when torrent of a water run off hills into valley, like yeah, in India also, and Russia, and many other places we see lots of this kind of stuff. So Tehran, Iran, in 1954, a flash flood rushed through a gully, killing around 2,000 people who had gathered for religious devotions. And Black Hills, Southern Dakota, 1972, there were around 238 deaths in the matter of hours. Total damage was around 1.6 billion dollars. So Darfur and Southern Sudan in 2007, flash flood into around left around 7.5 million homeless. So, and then Russia in 2012, 150 were killed in the worst flood and landslide in 17 years. And too much rain, non-stop rain, can cause river to burst their banks and flood low-lying areas. Yeah, many people suffer in every years, and it is in the hand of nature. We can't do it, but we can prevent it, we can take precautions. So that is why we take more safety precautions and environmental concerns we need. So yes, other floods can be caused by storm tidals and dams bursting. And in China, 1931, Yangtze River, so caused by the Yangtze bursting its bank and killed 3.7 million people. Africa flood 2007, some of the most widespread flooding in history, affecting a belt of countries for Senegal eastwards to Ethiopia, and as far south as Rwanda. Bangladesh in 1998, two-thirds of the country was covered with water, and 25 to 30 million people lost their home. Many floods affected this low-lying country, which is mostly floodplain. And yeah, because it's near this Bay of Bengal, and most of the time it's sea floods. And Mississippi floods in 1972, the most destructive river flood in the history of United States, with 246 deaths reported. Rio de Janeiro in Brazil 2011, in 24 hours, the local weather service recorded more than rainfall than was expected for the entire month, caused mudslide and 930 deaths. And it's happened in Delhi. In India, every years, in South Asian continent and American continent, always it happens. So just here is the decades of based on American company, so they have their own data, but yes, we face a lot. And Haiti and the Dominica Republic 2004, torrential rain made a Soleil river outflow and causing floods and mudslides that destroy our village and kill more than 2,000 people. So that is what we should really take care of it. And so we talk about this disaster management, and we prepare volunteers, and we teach them, train them. So what we'll do, do if there is tsunami or flood came. And because that time it's crisis going on, and with people are in suffering in for food, for fresh water, and they're losing their home, their land, their everything they are losing due to flood. And so it's a very disaster. It created a disaster. In now few years back in 2020 we see a lots of disasters, floods and all, in India and subcontinent area. And let's talk about hurricanes. So hurricanes, yes, those are the let's see what hurricane are. Tropical cyclone, swing storm that form at sea in tropical region. Their deadliest feature is that storms surge when window force huge wave ashore that batter and flood the coast. So be very careful while this kind of stuff happen. And yeah, most of the time radio and all your media alert for this. Where huge wave ashore. Okay, cyclone Monica in 2006, cyclone Zoe in 2003, in 19 and Bhola cyclone in 1917. This storm is unknown intensity, caused up to 500,000 deaths in what is now in Bangladesh. In cyclone Gamete, okay, into 1970. That time I think India just getting independent, and there was two country, East Pakistan and West Pakistan, and now in Bangladesh. Cyclone Gamete in 2007. Gamete or category 3 dropped 18 feet of rain on this land. 18 feet of rain on this land of Reunion over 9 days. Oh my god. So few more information. Structure of a hurricane. Wind blow. You see, this is how hurricane look like. It's cyclone and keep circulating the air and water. So wind blow in a spiral around the calm, low pressure current or eye. Immediately around the eye is a dense bank of cloud, the eye wall where the wind are strongest. And satellite view of a hurricane Katrina. The eye is clearly visible, surrounded by a vast mass of scrolling clouds. You see here? Fine. Cyclones remantis. A cyclone may travel thousands of miles before it is completely spent. Hurricane Katrina 2005, over 18,000 people died when the category 5 storm hits the east coast of US, causing 160 billion of damage and life also in this list. Hurricane Iniki in 1992, category 4, was most powerful storm ever strike. And there is many, if you see that current updates, you will understand. Tropical cyclone and extra tropical cyclone remanent storm track. So this map shows the paths of some tropical cyclone. When they move beyond the tropical region, they become known as extra tropical cyclone. By this time they are much weaker. Okay, so this is the category. Here is the tropical cyclone strength. Big storm that rotate around a core of a low pressure air are called tropical cyclone. The fiercest of those are hurricanes, also known as typhoon. Typhoon is just cyclones with wind over 74 miles per hour, around 119 km per hour. Their category number is linked to their intensity or strength. So here is the category 5, over 157 mile per hour, and building destroy, catastrophic floods. And if it is in category 4, so roofs blow off and major coast flooding. In category 3, large tree uprooted, mobile home towers, home wrecked. In category 2, some roof doors and windows damage. In category 1, minor building damage and branches shrap. No significant damage in tropical storm. No significant damage in tropical depressions, and some flood risk may be unknown intensity, various, sometimes catastrophic. not recording. Okay, so let's see again this map, and you will understand that where this red and blue and yellow colors is more, here is that, I mean, this place have a more tropic and cyclone. So there is China and Japan and Korea, all kind of this kind of here countries there. And also here we see in Australia we have, and mostly this place. So you can't see this kind of stuff in Middle East of this country. Okay, now tropical cyclones rotate continent counterclockwise, not anti-clockwise, counterclockwise, and in the northern and hemisphere, but clockwise in the southern hemisphere. Wow, that's interesting. And Antarctica's ice-free dry valley is the continent's interior have not seen rain for more than 2 million years. Who? Antarctica's ice-free dry valley. Okay, as we talk in when we was reading them, in this continent interior have not seen rain for more than 2 million years. So never, no rains ever. Now let's read this biomass. I mean this green place where and what kind of biomass is there. First let me tell you what is biomass. A biomass is an area that we define according to their animals, planets, plants that live there. They have to adapt to the biomass specific conditions such as temperature and type of soil and the amount of light and water. So you see in different place we will see different kind of animal. Why? So they have to adopt this temperature, their food, and their all things need to be updated. So DNA modifications are done, and that place, like you can't see camel in a sea. Camel will only be in the desert place, right? So they've been created in this way so that they can live in these deserts. Now let's read this tropical and all this information. So I love always this biomass and all this kind of stuff. So tropical border leaf moist forest, so also known as the rainforest, those warm and wet woods support the huge varieties of animals and the plants life. So this is how what I love it to read. So this is a very greenery place, and this is a tropical borderleaf moisture forest. Then tropically dry borderleaf forest, broadleaf forest. So those areas are warm all years around by have a long dry season and many trees lose their leaves. And tropical coniferous forest, many migrant birds and butterflies spend their winters in the warm, dense conifer forest. Temperature borderleaf forest, so the most common habitat of northern Europe and home to trees that lose their leaves and winters. So temperature borderleaf forest. And then we have a temperature coniferous forest. Giant trees such as California redwood thrive in this region of warm summer and cool winter. Boreal forest, also called taiga. This is the largest biome on Earth. It is dominated by just a few type of coniferous trees. We read in Bengali like Chirohori, Chiroshobuj, and Toiga and all. But this is in English, yeah, it's a bit difficult. Now, Savannah. What is Savannah? A long dry season and shortly rain periods results in the grassland started with the trees and herds of grazing animals. Savannah place love to visit for safari and all. Flooded savanna, the birds are affected to those marshy wetland area that are flooded in the west season but grassland at other times. Temperature grassland, so also known as the prairie, stepped or pampas. Many of those vast fertile plain are now farmland. Mountain grassland. So the inhabitant of those remote high habit must adapt to the cold and intense sunlight. And we have a marine biomass. We will talk about this. So this, you see, when we define and different kind of this, you will see, let me show you first color. Tropical broadleaf biomass, where you find this kind of stuff in North America and little bit in Indian continent and also in the African continent. And you see this tropical dry Middle East, tropical confident forest, okay, boreal forest, a little bit blue. This place, yes. Polar desert. Okay, here let's read the Mediterranean shrubland. Hot, dry summer can lead to fire that actually help the biomes. Typically, shrubby plants spout. Deserts and dry shrubland. Deserts inhabitants have to be able to survive on less than 10 in 15 to 50 millimeter of rainfall per year. And Arctic tundra. Okay, Arctic tundra, a cold dry biome where the soil stay frozen at depth. This permafrost stop trees from growing. And this is a polar desert, too cold and dry for almost all plants. Only animal depends on the sea, such as penguin, can live here. A billion plants, okay, a biomes, plants and animals form a complex and interconnected community. A biomes, plant and animals form a complex and interconnected community. We all are interconnected, the animals, the plants, trees, with the season, with the land. Like somewhere it's a hills, mountain area, somewhere it's in plain and down region. So when we read this geography and about the earth, it was very fascinating. I feel very interesting, and I can think and think and think. And yeah, we have, let's talk about this. So temperature grassland and mountain grassland. Temperate, okay, we already read this. Marine biomass. Sea biomass are as varied as those on land. From beaches to the darkest ocean depth, living things find way to survive and thrive. And here is a mangrove. One of the shore, the mangroves thick tangent roots show the water's flow and create a swamp. And coral reef, the warm shallow waters of reef support a huge varieties of life, from shark to tiny sea horses. This is a coral reef, is under the sea. So I would like to go with these biomes, and I would definitely make another videos of a detailed video on biomes, like where I can explain different kind of stuff more detailed. Like as you see here, this earth, and where somewhere it's a green, somewhere it's a blue, white. Why this is, we want to explore more so that we can go with a more deep and we can get more information. Tropical forest cover less than 7% of the planet. Tropical forest cover less than 7% of the planet, but are home to nearly half of all living things on the earth. So we need to save our tropical forest, because this is a half of our living animals, are living things are on earth, are living there. So this is, we need to save our biomes, our earth. Now let's talk about some forest. Where we'll find more forest? Mostly in Asia. Wow. Okay. No, I don't have time much now. I will talk you in the next part of this video. So thanks for watching and keep watching.